Time now for a look at our adoptable pet photo of the day. Meet Helen. She's a 2-year-old pit bull mix. You can find him, or rather her, over at Animal Humane's main campus on Virginia Street. Get a closer look, go to our website, KRQE.com. Between efforts to reform APD with DOJ and the city with the city of Albuquerque, also getting really big national publicity. A lot has been happening around our city in the last month. Here to inform us about everything that's going on around Albuquerque is Mayor R.J. Berry. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yeah, first let's start with the DOJ.
Sure.
We had that hearing with the federal judge. He did not sign off on the agreement. So what happens? Does this stall everything that you guys are working toward with the DOJ?
No, we have to wait until the judge ratifies the settlement agreement that we put in place with the DOJ, which, by the way, Albuquerque did that quicker than any other city in the nation, so we're really proud of that. We currently have our monitor who's been selected between ourselves and the Department of Justice, and who's also kind of a consensus pick in the community as well. So that's good news.
Okay. Is he on the job yet?
Well, we will wait until the judge approves that settlement agreement, but we're not waiting. We are doing our CIT training. We are moving forward with reforming our policies and procedures. So Chief Eden and Chief Huntsman are doing a nice job of pushing forward while we're waiting. So we're really not losing any time, but we are anxious to get the monitor in place. His name is Jim Ginger, and we think he'll provide a lot of third-party independent review for both myself as a mayor, the community, the department. So we're looking forward to that.
You guys have been really working on trying to reform APD. Tell me what you guys have done so far.
Well, gosh, the list is long. We've put over 60 reforms into place just since I've been the mayor. And these are really reforms geared to do two things. Number one, we want our officers to have a great department to work in. We want them to get home safely at the end of their shift. But we also want more effective and constitutional policing, and we know that we have work to do. So what's happening in Albuquerque, and I think the monitor actually hit on this a little bit when he first came to town, and he said, look, Albuquerque actually and APD are doing some things that other cities haven't done. We've really moved forward and gotten ourselves into a place where we're going to be making some real progress earlier than other cities have.
Okay.
And we hope that he will be able to find that, and we'll earn that as we go through this process. But I think we're in a good place because we have a community that's both supporting our officers and asking for reforms, and that's a little bit unique because not every mayor, not every community has actually supported the department in this process. So I'm happy we're doing that here.
So at this time, you guys are moving forward with reforming
I think we're moving
APD.
forward, and you know, we're moving forward in a way that's really meaningful. And we had a spike in officer-involved shootings in 2010. We haven't had a spike since. We've had a number of years below average officer-involved shootings, and our goal, my goal, is to continue to drive that number down, but also just to have a broader understanding of policing and community engagement with the officers that serve them. And we're doing that through our community outreach. We're doing that through our policing councils at all the 6 area commands. So there's a lot going on, and I'm happy that our community is really engaged in this along with our officers.
Let's talk about the police shootings now. And Congresswoman Michelle Lujan Grisham, she recently co-sponsored federal legislation calling for a special prosecutor in each state to investigate deadly officer-involved shootings. Are you in favor of something like that?
Well, I haven't read the legislation because I don't know that it's been out yet from the standpoint of being heard in Congress. I think what she's asking for is a law that would allow governors in each of the 50 states to be able to override the district attorneys in their areas.
DA Carrie Brandenburg.
Right. Well, but it would be in all 50 states because
Correct.
it's a national law. We'll have to look at that and see.
Okay.
One of the things that we're trying to do on the ground here on Main Street is put the policing reforms into place, and then of course it's a whole different branch of government, the justice system. You know, I'm in the executive branch, she's in the legislative branch and the judicial system. So we'll wait and see on that.
At this time, the city's kind of hit a hiccup with the DA after she filed the charges for the James Boy shooting against 2 APD officers. The city attorney pretty much said they don't want her at any of the police briefings anymore. Would this help to have a special prosecutor in place?
Well,
are you worried about a conflict of interest with the DA?
On March, I think it's March 2nd, we're going to have a judge answer the complaint by 2 of the officers' attorney that there's a conflict of interest. One of the city attorneys had a concern about a conflict of interest at one of the officer-involved shootings with the DA's office. I'm not an attorney. I wasn't there. I wasn't part of that decision. So what I will do, like the rest of us, is wait to see what the judge says.
Okay.
If the judge says there's a conflict of interest, then we'll have precedent. If the judge says there's not, we move forward.
Right.
I've talked to Rob Perry, my CAO, who's reached out on numerous occasions to the DA. And last I understand is if there's an officer-involved shooting, they'll continue to allow the DA to go. So I think we've gotten past that. But I think it's an important question, and it's one that I'll wait to see with the rest of the community.
Right, and I know you mentioned that you're waiting for, the legalities of this to take place. But is that a concern for you if one city attorney raises a red flag saying, wait a second, there's a conflict of interest in this case, but what about the numerous officer-involved shootings that the DA did not charge an officer? Would there not be a conflict of interest in those cases? Are you taking a look at that?
Well, I think the conflict of interest concern came about because the DA took a different direction. So when the DA did something that was unprecedented, that apparently created this perceived conflict with the city
Okay.
attorney. So once
So
again,
when she charged an officer, that was something different.
well, going this informational route versus going the grand jury route, whether the officer was charged or not charged, I'm not sure was the issue. But once again,
Okay.
not being an attorney,
Right.
I'm going to have to defer to the attorneys on that. But someone had a concern, they brought it up. We've been aggressive in trying to address it. Now we have a judge that will look at it, I think, early in March, and we'll have an answer.
Okay, and clearly, Mayor, you have 2 more years left. APD, DOJ, big issues that have been under your watch. What are you looking forward to in the next few years as you end your term?
Sure. Well, we self-imposed a term limit. I did, and there's no term limit for mayor. But we thought, look, let's do 2 terms, and at some point you want to hand it off to someone way better than you found it. And on December 1st of 2017, so a little over about 2.5 years, I guess,
Okay.
we'll be finished being the mayor. We just want to make sure that the police department is better for the officers, better for the community. Our fiscal house we've gotten that in order at the city. We've got a cleaner city. We're recycling. We're doing more energy work. We're just doing lots of good things. We've got a master plan for the zoo. We've got Paseo Belt. We're just really trying to make sure that the city is handed off better than we found it, because we love this place and we love this opportunity.
All right, thanks so much for joining us this morning, Mayor. More information on what we just talked about, go to our website. We'll be right back.